and welcome to How Do You Drew?
This is a Drew Barrymore podcast brought to you by thedrewsium.com.
And sponsored by our friends at Positive Medium.
I'm Anne.
And I'm Ashley.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to our first mini episode, or as we're calling it,
Drewsflash.
Yeah, Drewsflash.
This is the Drewsflash for this week. We're going to do these every once in a while just to kind of break it up. So we have some kind of shorter, little simpler things when there's a big week like there is this week.
Yeah. Plus, life is going to be a little funky for a while. I'm 2 weeks out from my due date from having a baby. So we're going to start introducing these so that we can stay on top of things, but maybe we don't have time to do like a huge researched episode. We have something that we're working on right now. We wanted to do it right. So it's going to come out next week.
Yes. A really important topic for us is coming for our next episode. Yeah. So we're saving a lot of energy for that. So look out for that next Drewsday.
All right. So we're just going to have all our usual stuff at the top so that we're staying current with you guys and you know what's going on with Drew this week.
That's right. So starting our Drewsflash for this week, what kind of follow-ups and possible oopsie daisies do you have from our previous episode?
Okay, so we do have some follow-ups from the last episode, which was we covered the In Style magazine from March 1999. Mm-hmm. And I think we had mentioned that we knew she'd been on a lot of covers, but we didn't have the count. So, of course, I went and did the count. Hopefully, I got it right, unlike the People one where we had to update it like 3 weeks in a row. So I landed on 10 covers of In Style, and they went from 1999 all the way to 2020.
That's pretty awesome. So in 2013, apparently Drew was on the cover of In Style more than anyone else with 7. So she probably held that title to the very end of In Style's print version, because they have actually discontinued doing print as of February 2022, which we didn't even know.
Wah, wah. That's so sad.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's funny because it's not funny, but it's like that was such a in size, very thick and large magazine. Mm-hmm. So it's wild that it's like no more glossy paper for them.
It's crazy. I think Playboy is also digital only now too, right?
I think that sounds right. Well, lots of magazines have gone that way, which is just a weird thing to be
crazy. Actually, this is kind of related. I was curious. So you had a poll up asking people if they still collect physical clippings. What was the result of that poll?
It was about 40% said yes and 60 no, I think, or maybe a little bit even more skewed than that. Mostly no. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. You were right to assume that.
Yeah, I just know the way the world is now. Sadly. Not everybody still appreciates the tangible magazine like we do.
Yeah, that doesn't bode well for my profession of archivist. I have to try to force people to really be into the tangible stuff.
All right. And then one other follow-up from last week's episode. There was a segment where we talked about how Drew said she didn't know if she was ever going to feel good about herself. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the exact quote, but and we were both saying like, oh, she still feels like this.
Yeah.
And then in an article that came out this past week, which we'll go into later, mm-hmm. she said to herself, you seem to be so inspired by everybody else, but you treat yourself like shit. When are you going to be good enough for yourself?
Jeez.
I know. And then like that came up on the show today too, on her show. So I think it's just an eternal battle for her.
Yep. And like I was talking about with In Style, like there's something about that I love about her, that she's you have to work, that self-care is work and it's constant. So it's an admirable quality, even though it's a terrible thing to have to go through.
Yeah.
Okay, so I see you made a note of a cosmic coincidence. What you got?
Well, I mean, some time has gone by, but I just thought
counts.
It still counts. I just thought it was so funny that on our SNL 99 episode, which is a very popular one, by the way, I'm glad people are enjoying that one. I like doing that one a lot. We were explaining about Melissa Rivers and Joan Rivers and how they used to do the Oscars red carpet and all that. But it was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And just on the Drew Barrymore show last week on their Oscars episode, Melissa was on to talk about people's looks.
So funny.
And they even mentioned how the "who are you wearing" question originated from Joan, which was a big part of that skit.
Yeah.
And then I just thought it was really funny that Drew said they were summoning her spirit And it just made me think about her turning into a demon in that skit.
If you don't know what we're talking about, you have to make sure you listen to our Saturday Night Live episode so you know what we're talking about.
Which was episode number
23.
Thank you. Anyway, good stuff.
Yeah, that's so great. That's really funny. Okay, so what else do you have?
Also, I believe it was, never mind, I got it. In episode 28, when we did our This Week in Drew History, and we were looking at a dress that Drew wore in 1984, and I said I wouldn't be surprised if this came from the same place as her 83 Oscars dress, because she like has mentioned the specific shop, and she mentioned it on the Oscars episode last week. It was called Bonnie's Wee Shop. So I thought that was fun.
That's really cute. And it looks like you've got even more about that Oscars episode.
I know. Well, we've talked about, because we have year in review episodes on the year 2000 and the year 1998. And those are the years that they talked about Drew's Oscar looks on the show. So the dress from 2000, she did confirm it was tailor-made to her. She didn't mention anything about it being from the Charlie's Angels costumer, but gosh, I swear I know that from something. So I hope I'm not spreading false info there. But...
One day we might find out and we'll have another clarification here.
There you go, probably. And then she also said that she just like wore her hair totally naturally that day. And then that was her own giant green necklace, which was cool.
That is cool.
And then in regards to 1998, nothing that we didn't know before, except sort of this detail that she put the real daisies in her hair, but she said she bought them from a grocery store like right before. And Ross was like, couldn't even handle how weird that was. He's like, what? But that's so true, right?
Absolutely.
And, yeah. And then of course that she got a can of body glitter and just sprayed it all over herself, which we know and love.
Did at that time. Yes. Love it so much. It's great to look at. Like, we have so many clippings of that 1998 Oscars.
Yeah.
And like video is where you really see the sparkle. Like, we've seen a couple of clips of her from that. And it's like, she's just shimmering.
I know, you're right. Like, it doesn't show up in a lot of photos, but it was there. And it was beautiful.
Yes, it was.
We love glitter.
Yes, we do.
Last little, this is just a tidbit that I picked up this week. Christine Taylor was on the Drew Barrymore show, which was a really fun reunion to see them together post Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
And she said that Ben Stiller, her husband, obviously, if you don't know that, he said that he was offered the part of Glenn in The Wedding Singer, but like scheduling wise, it didn't work for him. But
that would have been
I could weird. See it though.
You can see it?
Yeah. Because I think he can play like a sleazy cheeseball.
Doesn't he kind of play like kind of a jerk in Reality Bites?
Yeah, that actually was kind of where I went. That was weirdly enough what I was thinking about. Even though he's not like a rich guy, that kind, but he's like got that jerky kind of chip on his shoulder in that movie.
How weird would it have been if that was the film that they did together and not Duplex?
Not Duplex, yeah, I know.
That would be really weird. But I can't picture anyone but that guy. Like, I mean, the guy Glenn as Glenn.
Perfect.
Like, yeah, he's such a cheeseball.
It's so fun we love these, like, what could have been? I didn't make any notes on this, but because we were talking about that movie Frigid and Impotent that Drew was connected to, that she like brought to Adam Sandler back in 1995, 96, I came across another thing about it in an article from back then. And it said that her character, she like must have been like a child actress, because there's something about her having an Emmy from being a child, but then also that she would like because remember it said they were serial killers. It said that she would target men who were cheating on their spouses. I know. Yeah, and so interesting. I wish we could like would have been cool projects that could have been.
So interesting to imagine how many we have no clue about too, which is probably innumerable.
So many. Okay,
so I'm ready to hear what Drew declared her love for this week.
I love.
Okay, a lot of these are a little bit longer this week. Not as much of a quick little snappy list.
Okay, let's hear
it. Okay, Drew loves this week a wild, wacky game.
Okay.
I feel like we knew that.
Yeah.
The website Birdie, which is BYRDIE. And
what is that website?
I was like, wait, I did not look up what that was. I feel like it might be design related.
Insider beauty tips, product reviews, and makeup trends.
Okay, so it's a beauty junkie thing. That makes
Yes.
sense. All right. All things design.
Okay.
We obviously know that already.
Yeah.
French onion soup.
Okay.
Spicy. Just, I love spicy.
Oh, okay. I thought it was with spicy shrimp and corn for some reason.
Nope, but shrimp and corn were together.
Okay.
Tahini, which is like a spice, right?
Yeah, it's a very limey kind of chili powder.
You know how I feel about lime.
Oh my God, have you not tried tahini?
I don't know.
Do you like pineapples?
Yeah.
So buy some tahini, buy some pineapple, eat that together.
Ooh, okay.
Killer, the best, amazing. It's also really, really good with mango. Disneyland sells mango in these like plastic containers, and they have packets of tahini.
Ooh.
Oh my God, it's
Look
so
at
good.
These tips. Okay. She also loves women that get better every single year.
Yeah. I was curious who she was talking about when I saw that.
She was talking about Jennifer Coolidge specifically.
Awesome.
But she just loves women that do that anyway.
Yep. Like her. Little does she know, she's also one of those.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Of course, this is kind of a duplicate, but her 2000 Oscars dress. She did
cool.
say, like, I loved that dress.
Aww.
And then lastly, Drew loves the journey of life and every single thing in it.
Oh, I think this segment is over now.
I know. I'm like, well, now everything's going to be a repeat.
Oh man, Drew.
I do leave out repeats, by the way. So there are things that she is like I think fish oil has come up like 10 times. Or fish sauce.
It'd be really funny to somehow obviously this would mean going through every episode of her show ever done, but to see like which thing repeats itself the most. It looks like there's a little bonus in this.
Well, just to even things out, is there maybe something that Drew hates in this world? So I just thought it was funny because I think we both can relate to this. She hates a burnt tongue.
Oh my God. Me too. And I couldn't help but think of how funny it is to juxtapose that with her love for ice. Because I'm not like a huge warm drink person. Part of it is because I don't want to burn my tongue.
Yeah.
And I don't like the feeling of like really hot things.
Well, I have the problem of I love my food, not necessarily drinks, but my food hot. Like I do not like semi-warm food. If it's supposed to be hot, I want it hot.
Okay.
But I have no patience. So I burn my tongue all the time. And I hate it.
And then you find yourself using a lot of ice.
Right.
Good thing you live in Las Vegas.
I know. The land of buckets of ice.
Yes. Okay, so now moving on to our Drewism of the week. What do we got?
Oh, someone's picking up, those cool little isms that we do.
I chose a quote from the Wall Street Journal, which again, we will get into that later too. But I thought this was a good one. She said, I worry that social media is a serotonin slot machine of validation.
Which is very true.
It's very true.
Yep.
It's such a great way of putting it.
Yep. Serotonin slot machine of validation.
Serotonin really slot machine is like, that really speaks to me.
We are serotonin slot machine.
Yeah, it's like a band name. So good.
Do you like SSM?
S&M? No.
No, SSM, serotonin slot machine.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, they rock.
They definitely rock, yes. Okay, so what about this week in Drew history? What were you able to pull?
Okay, so I decided to let's go with March 16th, 2002.
Okay.
And part of the reason I chose this was because you and I spent some time together at this time. I had just moved to Orange County.
Yep.
And you came for the weekend to hang out with me so that we could go to see the 20th reunion of E.T.
Oh, yeah.
So the premiere was on March 16th. And let's talk a little bit about what Drew wore and a little bit about what she did afterward.
Okay. So her look here, I've always found to be... I don't know how...
You don't love it?
I don't love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those outfits where she had like such wide-legged pants that they cover her shoes, which is always like a funny look to me.
Did I tell you about the Gumby thing?
I don't know.
Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't send you this. So I used to work with this girl right at this time, actually, who she would always say that if your pants were like that, it was like Gumby, because she had really short legs, so she would call herself Gumby.
Okay.
But there is a picture of Drew from last week wearing a green suit, and it's fully Gumby. And I did a side by side. I'll send it to you.
You didn't show me that.
I actually love the suit, but it made me laugh so hard, and I sent it to that girl, and I was like, "This is the most Gumby I've ever seen."
That's so great.
Immediately. Okay, I'm texting it to you so you can have a reaction on the pod.
Okay.
I didn't mean to murder you.
We might have to share that.
I think we do. Sorry, Drew. I mean it with love.
No, it's really great. It is almost exactly Gumby color. What's so funny is that when I saw that suit, I was like, this feels like early 2000s, that color of green.
Oh, interesting.
Because I used to, that's kind of when I kind of started to identify a lot with the color green.
Okay.
And I was really into like that shade.
That's
and
so
now
funny.
I've veered more towards like a sagey, seafoamy green.
Yeah, I definitely associate you with it, like a sage green.
And if I like a darker green, it's more like forest green. But I definitely had like a sweater that was kind of this color that was stripy. So honestly, when I saw this, I probably thought of like 2002. So it's really funny.
Maybe the Gumby legs were sort of in your subconscious as well.
Little did I know. So this look, like, I think she looks really pretty, but something about it doesn't really feel like her. She's wearing like a jean jacket sort of thing, or maybe it's like just like a gray blazer. Is it jean?
I think it looks denim-y.
Okay. And then just like a white, I think it's a tank top, and then this kind of like chunky red beaded necklace.
I do like the necklace.
And her hair is tied up like really tight in a ponytail.
Yeah, the hair is the thing I don't like. It's like slicked back in this like teeny, her hair was really short. So it's like slicked back in this teeny little ponytail. I don't like slick back hair on Drew. I don't really like it on anybody. Let's be real. But yeah, so she attended the premiere. We have pictures of her with Steven Spielberg and Henry Thomas. And
yep, it's really sweet. They look like they're having a wonderful time at the reunion.
Yeah.
And then what about that evening?
Well, so Drew then partied that night at a place called Club AD. She was with her longtime friend Amy Brooks, and there were some racy photos of them dancing together that got printed in the tabloids.
I think there might have been like a couple of them maybe making out a little bit, or
like
close
Drew's
to it.
Tank top was maybe sort of coming off at one point.
Yeah, she definitely was having a good time that evening.
Yeah.
Do we know how she knows Amy?
Well, Amy is I believe the daughter of producer James L. Brooks. So
okay.
I would think probably even from childhood. I don't know. Like she's been spotted with, or was spotted with her a lot over the years. I don't know if they're still friends, but
yes, I remember these well. Yeah, tabloids were all over it.
I don't know if we'll put up the racy tabloid ones, but we'll put up some other ones of them just hanging, like leaving the club, basically.
Howdy, Drewbies.
We want to tell you about our sponsor, Positive Medium. We've actually been clients of theirs for at least 10 years, and they take care of all of our website needs for thedrewsam.com.
They offer custom web design and professional coding, search engine optimization, marketing, and hosting. So we've been hosted by them, but we've also been able to take advantage of a lot of their expertise in these other areas as well.
Absolutely. So customer service is the biggest draw for us with this company. They have saved our site literally from obliteration quite a few times. But then they also help us with minor issues in just like literally a matter of minutes. So if we have like a coding question or just like something on the back end we can't figure out, we reach out to them and we get an answer back, and the issue is solved within moments.
We're so excited that Positive Medium is allowing us to offer our listeners 25% off managed WordPress hosting plans using our promo code DREW, D-R-E-W, of course. And if you want to take advantage of this, visit positivemedium.com. We really, really vouch for these people. They've been so great to us and will continue to be great to us. I can only imagine.
I mean, they're great by offering this to our listeners. So take advantage. Again, it's promo code DREW, of course.
So now we're going to jump into the hefty What's New with Drew section of this episode of this Drewsflash.
Yeah, why don't you take the first one because you read it more recently than I did.
Okay, that sounds great. So there was a really amazing and thorough and long feature done in the LA Times that was released on March 5th, written by Amy Kaufman. And in the feature, which seems to kind of like, what was the other feature recently that followed her around for a day?
Drew Magazine.
Yes, of course. So it kind of follows her around for the day, not in the same way, but kind of similarly. So they have photographs from different points in the day by Ash Bean. We've mentioned her now a couple of times. She takes photos on the set of the Drew Barrymore show, correct?
Yep.
And has done some photos for the magazine and seems to be doing a lot of stuff recently with Drew.
Yeah.
So before I even really get into the things I loved in the article, because it's a really beautifully written article, it talks about Drew's success with the show that maybe wasn't so much at the beginning. It talks about what kind of happened in her life after her divorce from Will and how hard of a time she was having moved to New York City from LA.
It's really long and thorough. When I first started reading it and I saw how far up my scroll bar was, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I know. And I didn't get a chance to read it till today. So you're right. It's very fresh in my mind.
Cool.
If you haven't read it, audience members, you should check it out. It's really wonderful. Thankfully, it is available online without restriction, as far as I can tell. Unlike another one we'll talk about in a bit. But there are a lot of really amazing photographs. I think I kind of mentioned that. One of which is another shot of that we talked last week about this Victoria Beckham fashion show that Drew's face was kind of part of the advertising for. And another shot from that is in this feature and featured prominently on the web version.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because she's not wearing the Edie headscarf, but she's wearing the same dress.
Yes,
so
and it's gorgeous.
Clear. Yeah.
It's so cool. And I pulled a bunch of quotes that I really liked that I feel speak to Drew's relationship with people in her life or just kind of how she feels about certain things. That I really liked it because it felt not surprising, but it just expresses these things well. So
cool.
One of the things I liked was she was speaking about her childhood. In this particular part of the article, they were talking about Jade and this kind of interesting, how after the emancipation, there was they called it competitiveness with Jade. And then they're talking about the Jade doing Playboy 8 months after Drew. And then it kind of goes on. And Drew said, "There's a choice to be had in how you see your circumstances. And I refuse to be stifled as a human being because of what I lived through as a kid. Don't fucking cloak me in this dark shit. I don't want to take on anyone else's perception of what it should have been because I don't feel that way. I think I'm incredibly rebellious because of it." And I just like it because she's basically yeah, I went through some shit. And she basically is don't say poor Drew. Yeah.
And don't think that, I don't know, don't try to read into my trauma in your own way, maybe.
Yeah.
Which I could be guilty of doing.
Yeah.
About her. Sometimes I'm just this that happened to her.
I mean,
but it's not my life. I don't know.
At the same time, what we usually do when we're talking about it is we're this is a part of it's more than just poor Drew. It's we have to look at the fact that she has this big name, and yet that name, it wasn't a nepotism situation.
Yeah.
We're basically using it as an example of how she has forged her own way. So I think we maybe use it in that way instead.
Oh, that totally makes me think of Edward Norton's quote from
That's right.
Style last week, which I'll just zip up real quick and find what that was because it really speaks to this.
Yep.
He said, he said, "She has forged this terrific positivity toward life and a spiritual density and grace out of nothing. So yeah, that's kind of almost 100%. Exactly what she's saying here.
But I think it's a great quote, and it kind of summarizes how she feels about having had a difficult childhood in a lovely way that's like, yeah, I know that it's what makes me want to work really hard.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what she's like, I'm rebellious about, like, I'm not going to let that be the thing that lets me sit back and cower. Like, it's wonderful.
Oh, good way of putting it. So eloquent, Anne.
Okay, so the next one I pulled, I just loved this. So Gayle King, who she seems to have become
very good friends with. Yeah.
Was quoted about the success of the Drew Barrymore show, and she had gifted Drew a yellow purse, I think it said, because they both love that color for the I think it was for the 4th season being.
I think it was that heart-shaped purse that I sent you a picture of kind of recently, and I was
probably
like, oh, so cute.
Yeah, so I think that's from Gayle King. So she said to Drew, "You're like freaking Ukraine. You just don't give up." And then Gayle King also said, "You look at her and she's so nice and friendly and touchy and loves everything. But it bothers me that people would mistake her kindness for weakness or being a dodo brain. She's a grown-ass woman. She knows exactly what she wants. She loves doing that show, and she made it clear. I'm here to stay. I'm going to get this, and I'm going to get it right."
Oh, yeah. I loved that when I read it. I was like, so accurate. Like, people can underestimate her because she is so lovey-dovey, hippy-dippy.
Yep.
But she's a freaking force.
She's a force to be reckoned with, and she's not just America's sweetheart, but she's also America's sweetheart.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just one facet of her.
So they also talked to a few of her close friends, which I love when they do this.
Me too.
Similar to the Edward Norton quote that you pulled from In Style. So they talked to Chris Miller, Cameron Diaz, and Nancy Devonin about what it was like to be Drew's friend and support her after her divorce with Will. And they were talking about the alcohol and all that stuff that we've heard her talk about a lot recently. Read the article if you want to read more, but I loved this quote from Nancy. "There is literally a ball of fire inside of her. It can get really turned up, which is what we see on the show. People burn even going near it. But in her lowest, most shame-filled moments, this weird little flame just burns. And she's just hovered over this thing like, you will not take this flame out."
Oh.
Like, I was just like, I can feel it. Like, I know that Drew is like, she's so determined.
Yeah.
But we know that she can feel low about herself. So that fire goes up and down. And I was like,
but it's always there. I like that.
Yes. And this is such a beautiful metaphor. I was like, hell yeah, Nancy. Like,
no.
And there were beautiful things that Chris said and Cameron said about like how they were like supporting her. And it's lovely. I just love that this one from Nancy really felt so like beautifully written.
Great pull.
Thanks. Okay. And the last one's kind of long, but I thought it was worthwhile. So this is Ross Matthews talking about what it's like to work with Drew on the show. And it's some of the same kind of ideas that you're hearing in these other quotes, but different. And I just liked it because it seems to summarize her well.
And we like Ross.
And we like Ross. So Ross said, "You hear from a lot of our guests, what is happening? Sometimes I'll be reading the teleprompter and she'll just start petting my shoulder because she's so tactile. If you say something that she loves, whether she knows you or not, she will storm through a room or TV studio and just embrace you. And if it wasn't Drew Barrymore, you'd be like, 'Excuse me, ma'am, do I know you?'"
It's so accurate.
It's so good. And like when I was reading, like, yeah, she storms, she also like screams. Like I was picturing that John Oliver thing.
Oh yeah.
Then the next part, "But because it's her and it's not put on, you just find yourself embracing her back. And I feel like that's what's happened with the viewers over the past 3 seasons. At first it was like, wait, what?" Now they're seeing it's the real deal and they've embraced her back.
Oh.
And I just loved it. These are just really lovely quotes in the article, but it's really well written. So check it out.
It's great. We'll definitely link to it on the episode page. And this is just like a snippet. Like it is very long and in depth. It's great.
Yeah.
And I do want to give a shout out to our wonderful friend Jolena for hooking us up with copies because she lives in LA and apparently it's really hard to get elsewhere these days. I know I used to get it at Barnes and Noble and I called them that morning and they were like, "We don't carry that." Like, what?
Yes. I remember like vividly being able to get like other big newspapers at bookstores. I mean, obviously I'm in Maine, in rural Maine, so I wouldn't be able to get it. But like, yes, thank you, Jolena. We are eternally grateful. Newspapers go off the shelves and are gone
in one day.
It's insane.
So we really appreciate having those when we can.
Yay. Yes, absolutely. So thank you. Okay, so what else is new with Drew?
Okay, so also in this past week, she announced a collaboration with Grove called Fresh Horizons. Mm-hmm. So Drew has already been Grove's global brand and sustainability advocate.
Okay.
That's a mouthful. They released a line of Grove X Drew Barrymore and really cute, fun stuff that I already have gotten some.
Yay! Yeah, I saw that you posted something about it on Instagram.
They're so cute. I love the colors and the look and everything. And some of the items have Drew's signature. I mean, obviously it's like a print.
Yeah.
She didn't actually sign the
but her handwriting is printed.
And we love any like little heart Drew on anything. Well, at least I do. I'm such a sucker for it. I'm like, oh, it's got her signature on it. I gotta buy it. I do
too. That's why I'm like keep stocking up on those candles from Walmart because they've got like that their handwriting underneath, and the fact that it's like each a little different message.
I know.
Like
gotta get them all. Yep. Just a couple little articles that came out to promote this in style. Funny enough, coming back to them. In style, they did an article. We'll link to that. And she said it's about just not overstuffing your home like a turducken, which I thought was hilarious, but bringing clarity and cleanliness and knowing where things are and using best practice. Having your home be a reminder that you're on the right track is really great, because when you're using a bunch of bad stuff or you're eating a bunch of bad stuff or your home is a hot mess, you don't feel good inside your head. And she is so right about that.
Yep, she's so right. And this is like a funny way to advertise something like this, but that's the cool thing about Grove is they're all about like trying to like less plastic, like higher quality materials that you can read the ingredients for and all that kind of stuff. So it's really great.
And I have to say, like, since she started working with them, obviously I'm deeply influenced by her, but I have been like way more conscientious about my plastic use in general. So I love that.
That's great.
She also spoke to The Cut. They had a really fun, quick article that is definitely worth checking out. And I liked this quote. She said, "Don't get me started on the takeout plastic. I keep my house to such perfection with plastic. Then I get my takeout. I'm just like, I feel like a plastic cuckold, this dirty, cheating, horrible person."
That's amazing. Oh my God. Yeah, takeout is like so horrible about that. Or or like microwave meals. It's always like in a plastic thing.
So true.
Like always.
Well, the world will keep working on it, and Drew's doing a big part in that. So that's awesome.
Thank you, Drew, for helping the earth.
They also had an event for the launch, and that's Drew was wearing that green Gumby suit.
Yeah.
And there were some cute pictures, and I saw Sam Rockwell was there, but there's no pictures of them together.
No.
I know.
That's like heartbreaking.
Unless maybe there are, and we just haven't seen them yet, but
I assume that they like got a chance to talk. Like I really am trying
freaking hope so.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I really hope we come across some pictures.
We've mentioned how much we like him, right? I don't think this is new.
If we haven't, listeners, we love Sam Rockwell. Ashley's had the chance to meet him. I think we did talk about that.
Oh yeah, we did, because we talked about when we manifested him.
Oh yes. Yes.
Which we really did.
Yes, we're crazy about him. I mean, when's the last time we saw them pictured together?
Oh my gosh. No, I don't.
Yeah, I feel like it's been too long.
You're giving me homework. Now I got to go find out.
We'll have a follow-up next week. So we also saw, you came across it somehow, that Drew was on the cover of Danny Seo's magazine, Naturally, the spring issue. And it appears to be the same photo shoot as Grove, possibly.
I have a sneaking suspicion, because they're at the same like pink table with pink background as all the new Grove pictures. So maybe not the same day, but it looks like it might be.
Okay, cool.
But Danny's on the show frequently. He's kind of like a Drew crewer, and he talks a lot about sustainability, and he does cool crafts. He's been on. Actually,
I feel like he was in like season 1.
Yeah, when we were the time that we were both in the virtual audience together, he did that tie-dye with like avocado.
Oh my God,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yes, because I had done avocado pit dyeing. So I remember watching that.
Okay, cool.
And being like familiar with the process. That's right.
Yeah, so we gotta get copies of this.
So if anyone has any like clues or sees it on the stand somewhere, let us know so we know where we can get it.
Yeah, we don't know what stores carry this one, but so we don't know the contents yet. Hopefully there's some stuff inside. He shared one outtake from their photo shoot in his stories.
Oh, cute.
Luckily I saw it and took a screenshot.
Very cool. Okay, what else we got?
We also have another new article. So there's just a lot of like press and promo going on this past week with Drew, which is why we have so much to cover and could just do a mini episode of Drewsflash.
Yep, exactly.
So the Wall Street Journal also had a feature. We believe this one was just online. We are working on confirming that. But what was the date on this? Do you have that handy?
March 9th.
March 9th. Okay. This one's a little bit shorter and sometimes it's behind a paywall and sometimes it's not. So
yes, it's very strange.
Your mileage may vary on seeing this one. It's basically called 20 Odd Questions. And the photos were done by Heather Sten, and she shared some really fun outtakes in her stories that I happened to capture. I got really lucky. I know. But yeah, they're just on the set of the show, but there's some where she's like laying down on the audience benches, just like being goofy and funny.
Yep.
The article is written by Grace Rasmus. And I see you pulled a quote that you liked from it.
Yes. So this one I pulled, I just feel like it speaks to what we already really know about her. And I like it because I identify with this.
Okay.
So the prompt seems to have been working with people you love is : and the answer. So it said working with people you love is messy. The whole personal and professional being in separate boxes, it's such BS. It's all layers over each other. It's so important to be around emotionally rational, stable, thoughtful, funny, prolific people. And I just liked it because I feel like that's how she is with her staff.
Yeah.
And she lifts them up like human beings, not just like hired help. So
that's great.
I just really liked it.
Oh, and you must be inspired by all these articles because you're speaking so nicely tonight.
Thanks. But the article is short and sweet if you can get your hands on it.
Okay, we'll link to it. Good luck.
Yeah.
Another thing we wanted to mention, because now it's been several weeks with nothing being uploaded. We don't know what's going on with the Drew's News podcast. So the last few episodes that were posted were rerun kind of content, and then there literally hasn't been anything new since beginning of or middle of February. So we're hoping it's just on a hiatus, but maybe it just became too much for her to juggle.
Maybe it was a lot of fun while it lasted, I hope it pops back up. But right now we're thinking it may be a little defunct at this point. So
if you want Drew podcast in your life, you got to just stick with us.
I guess so. We're just going to have to fill that void for you. I wouldn't mind if all the listeners that aren't listening to Drew's News come over and listen to.
Yeah, they should just put up a quick little announcement and just redirect everybody our way.
Actually, I just kind of like was thinking that'd be cool. And then I'm like, now I'm suddenly terrified. Imagine we suddenly suddenly have 1 million listens on an episode. And I'm like,
what did we sign up for?
Okay, and then last but not least, because we've finally gotten our hands on the newest issue of Drew magazine. So what do you want to mention about that?
I guess we'll just say we kind of mentioned it before when it was announced, but it's called the How We Do It issue. And so there's lots of different contributors. I haven't gone in depth into anything yet. I've just flipped through it.
Yeah.
But I do love that Drew's using the hashtag How We Drew It, and I'm like, ooh, that's getting real close to our podcast.
Really, you could just accidentally put "How do you Drew?" Wouldn't mind. Once again, millions of people are suddenly visiting our thing.
But there's lots of great personal pictures of Drew as usual.
Yes,
I actually on our Drewsium Instagram @Drewsium posted a little compilation of 9 of them that I liked. this current issue does not have any like old rare photos of her, which
Yep.
I feel like if I could give feedback, I'd be like, give us some old rarities.
Yes. Yeah. So we got like a different kind of personal insight that's new.
Yeah. But there's lots of cool ones from like a girls trip she did to Italy over the past summer.
Yeah.
I think I saw Deb was in one of the pictures, and like,
Oh, cool.
you know, Lana and the usual. And yeah, just good stuff. Another fun issue. We're happy to have these keep coming out. I'm glad it's like seems like a really consistent thing. And
yes, maybe they're like, well, we won't have Drew's news, but we will have more Drew magazine. Because I know one of the recent articles was talking about how they went from like, was it twice a year to 3 times a year, and now they're doing it quarterly. So like that's really exciting.
That whatever article that was actually talking a lot about the magazine, and it did sound like they were doing a photo shoot for an upcoming cover. So I'm like, cool. I'm because I was a little worried, like, or then I got to start using old pictures.
I know, that's right. We did talk about that.
Yeah,
we did talk about that.
Looks like we've got maybe the next issue will have a new photo shoot.
Actually, there's one more thing I'll say about that, because in the LA Times, there's something where they say like that she's in a bath of mac and cheese or something. That's what it
was. Yes.
And I'm like, wait, what? And then the cute thing, I didn't pull the quote, but it was like, would you rather have that Mona Lisa smile or this? And then one of the writers that was in the room was like, I want the mac and cheese girl or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, now I'm all excited about that again.
I know. It's going to be really fun.
We better see it. It better not be one of those things that like never makes it.
Yeah. So that basically wraps up our Drewsflash for this week.
And that was a lot. That wasn't short. We hope you guys enjoyed this Drewsflash. And like we said, you can probably expect a couple more of these in the next coming months.
Mm-hmm.
We hope they're still entertaining. I think it was. We still talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we did.
So thanks, you guys. As always, rate, review, subscribe. I know it's just mindless. You hear that in the background of every podcast, but what if you've made a difference this time and you went and actually did it for us?
Yep. What if?
Really, really appreciative.
You can make it happen.
Be the change you want to see in the world. And then also follow us on Instagram. The podcast is at How Do You Drew Pod. And we also have at Drewseum for all kinds of other Drew content.
Yes. And don't forget to visit our website at howdoyoudrew.com, which is also hosted on the drewseum.com. So you can browse around our OG website and then send listener mail to howdoyoudrewpod@gmail.com. Anything you want. We want to hear if you're a new fan and you just discovered us, like reach out and say hi. Like we're accessible people.
Yeah, we want to talk with you guys. We like interacting.
Yeah. And I hope you're all really excited about our next big episode next Drew's Day.
Do we want to say what it is or just wait?
It's one of our favorite movies.
There you go.
If you're an old friend of ours, you might know what movie we particularly love and connect with.
I mean, if you're a 90s Drewbie, you're going to agree with this.
Yes. And I can't wait.
Either. It's going to be a good one.
Yes. So watch out for our next episode next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
This episode of the How Do You Drew podcast was researched and produced by Ashley and Ann from thedrewseum.com with help from our sponsor, Positive Medium.
Special thanks to Matt Costa for our lovely theme song, Roxy Prima for our adorable logo, and last but not least, Drew Barrymore and all the Drewbies who love her. We do this for you.
Thank you.